All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thanks to those of you that are already on. Thanks to those of you that are going to watch and see us here on YouTube. Thanks to Gene Schenberg for joining us today to teach us all about Valor. Before we get to Gene and all the awesome tools that Valor has for you to offer to your merchants out there in the field, quick bit about us here at Host. Most of you are our agents and you already know this, but again, here at Host, your success as independent sales agents is our number one priority. We're committed to bringing you exceptional support, dedicated guidance, fast responses, real solutions, amazing technology, and that's going to be a big part of our focus today. You guys and your merchants get 24/7 US-based tech support. You guys get personal relationship managers that know your business and help you achieve streamlined approvals for your merchants. Again, at Host, you guys have access to a fairly unmatched selection of amazing payment technologies, and Valor is one of them. And so that's going to be our focus today. So let me go ahead and cover a couple of things, and then we're going to hand it over to Gene, and he can show us everything he's got going. So let me share my screen. All right. So again, welcome everyone back to the sales trenches, solution-based selling in the real world. Today, we've got Valor PayTech. We've got a representative from Valor PayTech here that's going to show us all the great tools that you guys have at your disposal. And he's going to help us and help you understand where Valor stacks up really well, where it's a great fit for a business, where maybe it's not the perfect fit for a business, and give you the things for you to be looking for so that you can make sure that when it's the right fit for Valor, that you're able to convert that business and get them on the right system. Again, this is about real-world payment sales conversations, competitive positioning, practical strategies, and no fluff. Gene's going to give us, hey, this is what we got. This is what's great. This is where it's going to work. This is where it's not going to work. Okay. Again, today's objective is to know where Valor fits best, where it does not fit, understand how to position Valor against the competition. You go in to a merchant that has a certain technology. Hey, here's how Valor is going to flex on that competition. Okay. And give you the ability to leave today with some practical sales angles. Just a little snap here of Valor PayTech, and I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with Valor PayTech, and Gene's going to show us a lot more here in a second. Just a quick snapshot again about Gene. Gene Schenberg, Senior Vice President of Sales at Valor PayTech. And Gene, hey, thanks so much for joining us today. The floor is yours, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you. Let me start by sharing my screen. And I'm going to provide you a couple of resource tools here before I jump in. So what you're looking at right now is just the basic Valor PayTech main landing page. Under resources, there's a section called Partner Materials and Training. And here you'll find product images for all of our terminals, quick reference guides, etc. The two areas in here that I think are the most important are under quick reference guides. You can find guides to all of our different programs that we offer. And they're listed here. In the case of a terminal, it's a walkthrough of using it. If it's a service, it's how the service works. And then installation guides are the shopping carts that we support. So one of the things that I'll talk about in a second is how our platform, to me, is sort of like a box of Legos. So think of these as 5 shopping cart Legos that you have in your box when you're going out and making a sales call. From here, I'm going to jump back over to a portal here in a second. But when I think of Valor and the way I would like you to think about Valor, we are the only platform that was built from the ground up to be 100% in the cloud. And what that means is the mid sits in the cloud and the processing occurs in the cloud. So if I have a store on a bin-based dual pricing program at 3%, everything that touches that mid that sits in the cloud shares that same rate. So when I look at our terminals, the terminal is the card present methodology to talk to the mid in the cloud. The virtual terminal is the card not present. The shopping carts, the e-commerce, the POS solutions are all just different ways to interact with the mid that's in the cloud. So the beauty of that is you never lose a batch in the Valor environment, because once the transaction's complete and it's in the cloud, whatever happens in the store to a terminal or whatever occurs no longer is relevant because the batch sits in the cloud. The merchant can batch out from the portal, from a terminal, from our mobile app, or they could simply say, I want to close my batch every night at 3 in the morning, and Valor automatically closes their batch and takes care of that from that point forward. The terminals could be turned off in a drawer or busted at that point. That batch still closes. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind with Valor. But further to that, all the things that I mentioned are also like Legos. You've got your card present Lego, your card not present Lego, your e-invoicing, your virtual terminal. All these things are different Legos. So when you go into a merchant and you say, how's your business? What do you need? What do you have? What are your rates? All those things like that. You can take this box of Legos and you could build a custom solution that's different for each merchant using these same sets of tools. Because we're cloud-based, all of the transactions show up in one place in the Valor ecosystem. So while all of those things talk to the MID that sits in the cloud, a web browser peeks in on that MID and sees all of the transactions. So a traditional account today, merchant has a chargeback dispute. They log into their terminal system. Oh, can't find the transaction in there. Let me log into my gateway, an NMI or auth.net or a service like that. Oh, it's not there. Let me log into my shopping cart. Oh, I found it. In the Valor ecosystem, because everything sits in the cloud and everything touches the cloud in these different ways, all of the transactions show up in one place. So if I'm a merchant, I can log into one web browser, and it could be a MacBook, a PC, a laptop, a Chromebook, a tablet, the web browser in a smart hotel room. We don't care as long as you can get to a browser window, you can load this portal. And as the merchant from in here, I can tip adjust, I can do refunds, I can do partial refunds, I can do a whole variety of things that makes life so much easier. If I'm a merchant and I own a restaurant and I'm doing tip adjusting at the end of the night, do I want to do it on a terminal with limited screen? Or do I want to rip through those things on a big screen like this through the Valor portal and give myself an hour back every night that I normally would be doing tipping adjusts on a terminal where I don't have to? So we're going to give that merchant time back by making this product more efficient and more effective. So as I'm looking at this screen, you can see in this middle, the device type, all the different devices that have touched the account, and you can see here where they're different. If I load a transaction in here, for example, let's pick this one, and I want to view the receipt. You can see here, this is an itemized receipt that was done, and this is something I'm going to show you in a second that sets us a little bit apart. We give you free light POS and free light inventory also in the Valor system. But this is perfect for a chargeback because you can see the transaction right here. And we keep the transactions in the portal for at least 2 years. So those of you, if you want, you can see my terminal over here. I think there's a way to either right-click it and make it your primary view or make it larger on the screen. But let me just run through a couple things on the terminal real quick. So first of all, you can see here the terminal is set up for bin-based surcharge. We could do credit, debit, or cash. Customer taps their card. We're going to know also what it is. You'll see down here in the middle, there's a little shopping cart. If I touch that shopping cart, it's going to load the light inventory that I have in the system. And I can go ahead and break this out. Let's say we're doing lunch items. So I'm going to buy a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a ham sandwich and 2 orders of fries. And then I'm going to go over to drinks, and I'm going to wash that down with a Mountain Dew, and my buddy's going to have a White Claw. So I've added that to my stuff. I hit the shopping cart button up here. It shows me my total of my order. I'm going to say it's a card transaction. I'm going to tap my card, going to sign, say okay, and then it's going to go ahead and print my receipt. And keep in mind that I'm in our demo portal, so this is a little bit slower than reality, but you can see the receipt, and it spit out the receipt. And here's the receipt, and it's got smart tipping on here for me to adjust at the end of the day, or I could do the tipping on the screen. But that's pretty much how the transaction works with light POS and light inventory. If I go to my settings, I'm going to turn my camera off just to see if that maybe makes the screen a little bit bigger. If I go to my settings and I go to product, here you can see the inventory that you saw on the terminal. All of our Android terminals have light POS and light inventory as a free part of the basic package you get with a Valor terminal. So if you're a food truck, a farmer's market, a towing service, a nail salon, any of those industries that want to have an itemized receipt and then be able to check at the end of the month how many things they did, how many items they sold, this is a great solution. This isn't a full-blown POS. But for a large percentage of businesses that just want to itemize receipts and tracking how much of something they sold, it's perfect and it's included. Now, this could be used with our portable 550E, and it could be for a towing service. It could be tows over 50 miles, tows under 50 miles, jump starts, key unlocks, whatever it is that they have, and they can look at the end of the month and see how many of each of those things they did in an automotive business. Nail salons, it could be pedicure, manicure, gel tips, whatever stuff goes on in there. I'm not exactly sure. But if they want to itemize those things and know how many of them they did at the end of the month, they can do that. Under reporting, once I've set this up and I'm running my stuff, I can go to inventory report. And you can see just, I've only done a few transactions so far this month, but you can see it's breaking down what I've sold, how many units sold, remaining inventory, etc. So again, mom and pop business doesn't have a point of sale system, thinks they might like to try POS to help them manage their business better. You can offer that to them at no charge because it's part of the system, and this is available on all of our Android terminals. I'm jumping around really fast because I know I've got a short amount of time. I'm now in our virtual terminal. This is our gateway. You can see up here at the top, there's a variety of different things I can do. I can set up recurring payments. I could do e-invoices. I could do QR codes. I can do a variety of things in here. One of the things that's important to note is over here on the right side, if you see over here, there's a CEDP checklist. And you can see all those buttons are red except the bottom one. This is part of Visa's new CEDP level 2, level 3 compliance program, and we're fully compatible with that program. Basically, what the short version of it is that people used to auto pop L2 and L3. It was a great feature, but Visa said, hey, wait a minute, this is fake data. We're giving you a better rate because you've proven that this is a legitimate business by providing this information. And then they say, well, wait, if all the information's fake, why are we giving you this extra lower interchange rate? And they said, no longer can you do that. You actually have to use real data. So this checklist on the side, I'm not going to fill all this out in the effort to save some time. But if I start filling in the data on this side, you'll start to see over on this side, you'll start to see things starting to turn green. And as I add things in here, if I add line items and bacon, you'll see the item quantities and things. So I can go through here and ultimately create a transaction where when all these are green and then I submit it, I know I'm going to get certified L2 and L3 if the account's built that way because I've met all the criteria for Visa, and they're not going to come back to me later and issue me a fine for providing fabricated data. One of the other use cases that we have, and I'm going to use that example with recurring. By the way, Ryan, how much time do I have left?
You're good. You're good. Keep going.
give me wave or say something when I get close to running out of time.
I'll yell at you, but I think everyone just wants the good info. So yeah, please go ahead.
Great. So here's another great use case. I'm looking at transactions that I've done this month, and I haven't done that many, but I have some different card types here. If I'm looking at these cards, I can come over here, and in this case, I can edit the customer in the vault because they already exist. In this one, I can add to the vault. So I'm going to add this as a new customer, and I can now put in information for that particular customer, and then I can save that out. And what I've done is I've basically taken that customer's card data and I've vaulted it. I've tokenized it, encrypted it, and put it in the vault. And these are all the vault customers that I have. A great use case for this is anybody that has a subscription membership program and offers a trial, tanning salon, health club, any of those kinds of businesses. Basically what you would do in this environment, the use case is really simple. I'm going to offer, say it's Ryan's Gym, and Ryan's doing a 1-week special for $9.99. Come in, use the gym as often as you want, and give us a try. People come in, they swipe their cards on the terminal and use the gym for a week. Salesperson calls back the following week and says, hey, you tried Ryan's gym. If you liked it, we're running a special for $19.99 a month for a 1-year commitment. You can come in as often as you want. Would you like to do that? So customer says yes. I pull up their information from the vault. I go over here. Actually, let me pick one that I've used a lot so I know it works. And I allow myself at this point to process a transaction. Now I've created a transaction, and I'm going to do a recurring payment. You'll notice over here on the right, the card information is already provided because it was in the vault. Now all I have to do here is put in, let's say it's monthly, it's the 5th of the month, it expires after 12 transactions, and I can go ahead and then finish this by putting in my amount, etc. And now I've created a recurring transaction, or in this case, a subscription, simply by having somebody come in and swipe their card at a terminal in my store. Remembering that the MID is in the cloud and everything that occurs touches that MID in the cloud, we don't care where the card got entered into the cloud. This card could have been swiped on a terminal. It could have been used on with an online purchase. It could be from another e-invoice that might have been sent out before or part of a shopping cart. Again, we don't care because we treat all of those things equally as just different ways to interact with the cloud. I can then process this and create a recurring transaction, which is super nice. Another feature in here are QR codes. Let's say for the sake of argument that Gene's Irish Pub is doing a fundraiser for the local VA, and we're going to process this, and we're going to do raffle tickets. And they're $50 raffle tickets, and when you buy them, you're being entered into a drawing to win something. So in this case, I went ahead and put in the $50. I put in the labels. I hit the generate the QR code, and now the QR code is generated. I can copy this QR code, and I can embed it in an e-blast, in my social media. I can print it and put it on a placard in my bar. On the bar, people can scan the code when they go by. But again, great use case for something super simple here. Another thing I want to show you real quick, and for those of you that are looking, you can see in this middle section, create and update invoice in QuickBooks, send paid invoice, email to client from QuickBooks. If this is checked, any invoice I create in here will automatically add that invoice and invoice number in QuickBooks. If I'm in QuickBooks and I want to send out an invoice, the payment link will be tied to the merchant's account instead of Intuit's processing. It'll be your processing that occurs. It's a seamless two-way communication between us and QuickBooks. There's no extra charge for that. It's just part of the virtual terminal package. That's another feature that's in here. Shoot. I'm going so fast, I'm afraid I might be overlooking something. E-invoices can be done one of two ways. E-invoicing can be one-to-one. I'm an HVAC technician. I've gone to your house. I've performed service. It's $99. I put in your information. I send you a text link that you can click on and pay the $99. I outside can see that it was paid and move to my next customer. This was great during COVID, during contactless payments. Service people could come and work on houses and come do stuff and not have to see the owner, and then send an e-invoice afterwards to be paid. And the customer could be in the house, could be at work, could be on the beach halfway around the world. As long as they're connected to the internet, they're going to get that text message and can pay that. The other version of that is a pay now link. And a pay now link takes you to a hosted payment page. So that first was one-to-one. This is now one-to-many. And imagine, let's make the amount flexible, and let's have it expire at the end of the year. And we're going to use this as an example of anybody that's doing fundraising or a religious institution. So this could be a donation. And let's see, let's go ahead and put in a customer name just to populate it for the purposes of this. But once I have this set up, it's going to create for me a link that's going to take me to a landing page that's going to allow me to make donations. And I can set it to a flexible amount or a fixed amount. I can set it to expire, not expire, link it to QuickBooks, and allow people to go to that page and make donations. So that's another option that's in here. We have ACH capabilities now. For me, our ACH rate I don't think is very competitive, so I wouldn't push this. But if you have somebody that needs ACH and they love the Valor ecosystem, you can add ACH. And that allows the customer to have the choice of paying by ACH or credit card on e-invoicing and hosted payment pages, anything like that, or just take ACH through the portal. Gives them that capability, so they truly have a cash discount or dual pricing option with cash and card that way. I'm going to pause for a second, and we want to take a few questions.
Sure. Let me see if we have any from the crew. I've got a couple.
Okay.
Real fast, this is really cool stuff. Talk, if you would, about a little bit more about the QuickBooks integration. So are there things that and you may not know this, but like Biller Genie, like softwares that are specifically dedicated, to do like high level QuickBooks integration, are there certain things that they can do that yours can't quite do? I do like that you do have the two-way communication there. Do you know?
I'm not that familiar with Biller Genie's solution off the top of my head, but I can tell you that ours is just a simple two-way communication. Invoices that are created in QuickBooks and sent out will have a Valor payment link. Payments that are initiated in Valor with the QuickBooks checkbox, that invoice number goes in and it tracks back to Quicken. And if Quicken doesn't have the invoice, it'll create an invoice number in Quicken. So it doesn't have to be to an existing invoice. You can create the invoice from scratch in the Valor ecosystem, and it puts it in QuickBooks. Beyond that, we have no other deeper functionality. That's where it stops. So part of our goal at Valor is to give you a wide range of tools and choices to cobble together or build your Lego for that merchant the way you want to. But we also don't want to step outside of our lane. We're not going to have a full-blown POS. We want you to be able to sell a full-blown one when you upgrade the customer. When we provide basic QuickBooks functionality, if they need something more specific, then you can upgrade them to a service. So our goal is to encourage merchants to try these things. Some percentage will never upgrade, and this will be enough, but some will upgrade, and it gives you the opportunity to upsell a fuller or better service down the road. And what's really important about that is if you have a merchant like a pizza shop who has a countertop terminal, you can give them a Valor countertop terminal like the one I was using earlier. If they say, you know what, we'd like to do pay at the table, you can add a Valor pay at the table terminal. Now we'd like to do mail order. They can connect them with a shopping cart or e-commerce solution and add that to the Valor ecosystem. So you can keep building different things onto Valor and keep that merchant happy. And the more things that you build, the less likely they are to leave, because so many different things that you provide to them, they have to undo to go somewhere else. It's like, I like Valor. It grows as I grow. I have no reason to go anyplace else. And you help solve for attrition by every time they need something, there's a Valor solution out there that you can add to it to make it work.
Nice. And just to mention a couple of things. So Gene mentioned like the hosted payment page and some of the QR codes. Those are included, right? So some of the other solutions out there are monthly fees or per transaction fees for transactions done using a hosted payment page or a QR code. And you also have text to pay on here, if I'm seeing correctly.
Yes.
And it looks like there's no additional fees for taking payments those ways. So that's a really cool thing. Really fast, circling back on the inventory and what again are the limits in terms of like are there a certain number of limits or a certain number of items that can go into an inventory in the system?
So the short answer is no, it's unlimited.
Okay.
The better answer would be if I go back to my terminal and I hit the shopping cart button to bring up my inventory, I can tell you that a merchant isn't going to have the patience to scroll through thousands of items looking for something on here. But you'll see at the top, there's categories, and you can see that the items are broken out by category. So if you think about maybe a 5 categories by 10 items, 50 is probably the sweet spot when you're using it in this environment. But, and this is the VP 550. Let me bring my camera up a little bit and put this one in here. This is the VP 800, and the VP 800 has a merchant-facing 8-inch screen and a customer-facing 5-inch screen. And as I'm talking, you'll see on this side ads rotating on here because the merchant has the ability to use that as advertising space. But the more important thing about this one, and the reason why I want to show it to you, is that if I remove the item from the cradle and I show you the communication cradle, you can see there's a space for Ethernet, a serial connector, and USB. This could be Ethernet, a cash drawer, and a barcode scanner. And once you add a cash drawer or a barcode scanner and a barcode scanner, you're now looking at a really cool, simple, light POS solution. And with the barcode scanner, the inventory is unlimited because you're not having to hunt for items on the screen. You're scrolling, you're not scrolling and hunting. You're just scanning the item and it matches the SKU number and it adds it to the ticket. So that's a little bit longer answer, but if you're going to use it without a barcode scanner, probably 50 items or so. If you have a barcode scanner, you could have 10,000 if you want. It's not a big deal.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Deja Vu is one of your competitors. Like, is there, and you can talk about some of your other competitors. Like if our agents are out in the field and they see people using other technology, can you give some quick tips for them to be like, hey, your solution doesn't have this, Valor could, I've got a solution in Valor that might be able to make your life better.
Sure. So first of all, being 100% cloud-based is really important when it comes to losing batches and managing your accounts. And I know that not all of our competitors offer a cloud-based. Some of them have added cloud to compete with us, but depending on the device, some are cloud-based and some are not cloud-based. I know also, for example, this is the Rocket. And while it looks like a cute little calculator, it's actually the ability to take a credit card. You could dip, tap, or swipe on here. The keypad's for PIN debit or EBT. This Bluetooths to our mobile app. And we don't have a per seat fee on this particular product. So I know some of our competitors that offer devices similar to this without a keypad, just portable units that Bluetooth to their phone. They have a per seat fee. So if I'm a plumbing company with 10 plumbers in the field, I'm paying 10 times a per seat fee for those plumbers to be out there, where ours is just one fixed flat fee. Whether there's one plumber or 1,000 plumbers, it's the same flat fee. So I know we compete from a pricing standpoint. I think the fact that everything's cloud-based and it's all in one spot and it makes their life easier is also a differentiator across the board. The other thing is that we've never sunset a terminal and we never plan to sunset a terminal. I can't say the same thing for our competitors. Because everything's cloud-based and we can remotely update the terminals and remotely update firmware, we have no reason to sunset a terminal. So if you're going to a business and they have a Verifone, I think it's the FD130, that one's been sunsetted, and after so much time, it's just simply going to stop working. You can sell with confidence knowing that Valor terminals are not going to be sunset. I know, without mentioning specific companies, there are terminals that are being sunset across the board, and that's something that you could sell confidently. That's probably just some simple stuff without me, digging in the weeds and trashing specific devices or companies. I think those are just some nice differentiators between us and the other people that are out there.
Sounds good. I guess we're going to probably run over a couple of minutes here. If anyone does have a hard stop right now, remember this video is going to get uploaded on YouTube, so you can catch up there or reach out to us directly. We can get you a faster version too. If you wouldn't mind, talk really quickly about Engage My Customer.
Sure. So Engage My Customer, and I'll explain it a couple different ways. First of all, for best practices standpoint, we recommend all the merchants do text receipts versus paper receipts. Most people don't want to carry paper receipts anymore. They throw them away. They leave them in the bag when they get home. Text receipts is a lot easier because it allows the customer to have those receipts on their phone and pull them up whenever they need to. The other thing is, if I view a receipt and I'm looking at the merchant copy of a receipt, you can see here the items I've purchased, the signature at the bottom. This is the merchant copy. If I go to the customer copy, it looks very much the same, except on the bottom, there's an ad for buy one picture, get one picture free. Part of Engage My Customer gives the merchant the ability to put advertising on the bottom of the receipt. And when I click on this, it will take me to wherever I want the merchant to go. So whether it's a coupon or we go to the farm, we have a store at the farmer's market on Saturday. Click here for directions, or click this survey and we got a $50 Amazon gift card to one winner a month. Whatever the business wants to use it for, this is real estate for them to be able to control. The other piece of that is if I go to Engage My Customer and I go to my customer list, every phone number of every customer that's ever been in my business and left me their number is available on this screen. And what allows me to do then is do text-based marketing. So if I have 1,000 customers' phone numbers and I send a text message to those 1,000 customers, now these are real customers. This isn't a Advo mailer or EdPlum. I'm not shotgunning it to random people. These are people who have actually spent money in my business. If I send it to 1,000 people, would you say what, Ryan, 2%, 3% is a very conservative response rate?
Mhm.
So if Gene's Irish Pub this month says, hey, it's March Madness, any night there's a game, it's $5 burgers and $2 long necks during March Madness. That's one offer. April, I say, hey, we feel your pain. It's tax time. Come in on April 15th and it's buy one, get one free on pizzas. If I do one good offer a month, not spam, but one good offer a month, the likelihood that all those customers are going to come back in one time a year is huge. Or if you look at it as a simple 2% and the average ticket is $100, you've added $2,000 to that business's bottom line, and they get to keep all the money. It's not like an Advo mailer or Groupon where they have to give 30 or 40% to somebody. They get 100% of it. And if they're making an extra $2,000 a month or $24,000 a year, they're never going to leave you. Why would they give up all that money to go someplace else just to save a couple of basis points or get a shiny new terminal? That's real cash in their pocket. Customer wins because they get an offer. Merchant wins because they get more business. Your company wins because there's that much more processing volume, and you win because there's no attrition. If you can solve for attrition, you're helping yourself at the same time. If you have 10% attrition a year, you have to sell 10% more every year just to break even. If you can cut that to 5%, that same effort grows your book 5% every year instead of staying flat every year. And if you can eliminate it completely, it's 10% a year. But I'm just saying, if you can solve for attrition with your merchants by providing these tools and things that make them sticky, your portfolio grows with the same amount of effort.
Yeah, love it. We did a webinar for our agents about sticky solutions, and Engage My Customer came up for sure. These, the more embedded you can get your merchants with your systems, the less likely it is for them to wander. So thanks for going over that. And it's very affordable solution. I want to say it was like $10 a month or something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong there, Gene, but I think it was pretty affordable.
Yes.
All right. All right. So let me see if we have any other questions. I think we had one, but Eric from our team helped answer that. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up here in a second. Gene, did you have anything quick that you wanted to add, or are
No,
you good on
not.
your own?
I think I've just add that the screen I left you on was Valor Shield RT, which is a real-time risk manager, and you can set different guidelines as the merchant on maximum transactions, business outside of certain hours. So you can really help hone the business from a fraud control standpoint, not letting shipping outside the U.S. or IP addresses outside the U.S., et cetera. There's a greater set of these available at the ISO level, but these are the ones the merchant can control. And it just helps with fraud. It's just another tool we give to make that merchant's business easier. I'll stop there.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really fast, and then we're going to wrap up. So while I'm sharing my screen, again, first of all, big thanks to Gene for joining us today. And again, you guys already know this. We've got we've got the answers here at host. If you guys ever have any questions about any of your Valor technology you've got available through us, go ahead and reach out. You have dedicated relationship managers that are going to get you fast answers. If we don't have the answers, we'll circle back with Gene and his crew. If you need marketing materials or anything like that, you reach out to us, and if we don't have them, we'll reach out to Gene and his crew. But again, we're here to help support you. Valor has, amazing technology, and thanks so much to Gene for joining us. Again, any questions, suggestions, or anything you need, go ahead and reach out to me or your relationship manager. And I think I speak for everyone. Thanks, Gene, so much again for your time today.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Take care. Bye, guys.